Certainly did. Hamza, break it down for me, bro. Give me your thoughts.
I played brilliant. I don't know what to say. Terrace, sorry, first, I hope you get better. If you lost your voice,
I'm not ill. I shouted when
for Europa League. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to play Europa League, and I would never want to shout like that. In Europa League,
Professor, you know what's up?
Veto, I said I don't want to play Europa League. 100%.
I hear it, but you know what's funny?
Terry, that's one thing I said. Pep Guardiola is too big for Europa League. Haaland is too big for Europa League. Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner. Can I
ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? I can't talk very loudly. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
This is where I call you out as a fraud supporter of your football club, because you say, I would never cheer like that for the Europa League. You must have cheered like that to get out of League One when you got promoted.
I was a young kid.
Exactly. So you must have cheered like that. And even lesser confidence. Please don't let me talk over you. My voice hurts. This is where you let yourself down, Hamza. You talk about being a City fan since you were a kid, but then you're belittling competitions like the Europa League, which the majority of your life would have been a dream. Don't disrespect football in that way. Remember where you came from, my friend. Remember where you came from. I just that makes you look a fraud.
Terry,
Terry, I think you can say as much, Terry. You can try and humble me, whatever, and I don't care.
Good luck with that.
You know what it is,
Terry. I fear to play Europa League. I didn't want to play Europa League. I told Veto I will not accept it. Pep Guardiola, Fergie's, all these guys are big for Europa League. I have respect for them in Europa League. Be humble, whatever. I don't care. I'm not being humble. I'm going to be shameless. Today, Everton away was a tough game. I was worried. I looked at the fixtures. I said, I know Chelsea are my rivals. I know they're the guys. When they dropped points to Ipswich Town, I knew Everton away, Fulham away, and Villa at home. Those 3 games, I marked it on my room. I've got it marked on my room. We went to Everton, a place where Liverpool struggled, a place where Arsenal couldn't get 3 points. We walked in there, beat them 2-0. When Pep Guardiola's under pressure, I hope you guys learned this. When Man City are under pressure, they deliver. When we under huge pressure that you think Man City are going to go through this calamity, we will deliver. It's the wrong team you're doubting. Today's performance, absolutely immense. We again kept a clean sheet against Everton.
Big game.
Everything that everyone struggles to.
Must win.
Said, Pep walked in there and we could have scored 3. They had chances, yes. But Gundogan's performance, masterclass. Fantastic defense by Vardio. Nico O'Reilly, a young left back, has come into a team where...
Did you say Gundogan masterclass, Hamza? Masterclass Gundogan?
You know what? Gundogan, I think, was good.
What channel were you watching? What channel were you watching?
I'm watching in a proper channel.
Were you watching his last game at Goodison?
Hamza was watching the...
He scored twice.
Hamza was watching the final game of the season.
But he
in
assisted.
2000.
Yeah, he did assist. Yeah. And he did occupy that 18-yard box very well late in the game.
That's why he didn't get taken off. Nico Gonzalez was a bit slow, and I said, you have to bring Kovacic on. Kovacic has been brilliant this season. And today again, the way we played against Everton a very tough side. They've just gone to Nottingham Forest and they beat Nottingham Forest, who are chasing top 4. They walked into the stadium and they beat them. A player like Morgan Gibbs-White that we're linked with, supposed to be elevating them. We walked in there with Nico O'Reilly, beat them so easy. To me, Nico O'Reilly today deserves credit. One of the player of the year of Man City, although he's only played for 3-4 months. That boy shows me what wingers. We haven't got wingers that scores goals. Doku doesn't score goals. Savinho doesn't score goals. Nico O'Reilly was getting into the box more than our wingers. And Nico O'Reilly showed why we should be trusting. You're right. One thing he said, why didn't you trust your youngsters? I was wrong. I was scared to throw them in the deep end. That's what you've been saying to me. I said, I don't want to put Nico O'Reilly at the beginning. But to me, I've been proven wrong. Nico O'Reilly's coming to the team and he showed composure. Brilliant, absolute performance again by a young boy. We've again had clean sheets again against Everton. The previous clean sheet was it before that as well. Crystal Palace, a remarkable remontada, brilliant performance against us. And absolutely now we're comfortable. Now my job is to watch Chelsea. I'm under stress, drinking my water, hate watching Chelsea.
Don't worry about Chelsea.
Knowing that if I dare them, they drop points. I dare Chelsea play they drop points. They're going back to Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan back again. Because I'm going to Milan, I'm going to Paris, I'm going to Barcelona. Book my ticket to Amsterdam. Mwah! We are enjoying it. All the hate watchers, humble yourself. We are playing Champions League next year. Because if I get my results against Villa, finito. I'm coming.
Yeah.
I think we're 5 points behind Arsenal. 5 points behind Arsenal. I dare Arsenal drop points to Ipswich Town. I dare we smell blood.
Hang on a minute. Let me just. You're on a great run. There's a few things I want to put. I know you're bantering a little bit, right? Earlier on, the beginning was banter for me as well. Let me just say this now. Arsenal don't give a shit about their league position. Now they're going to put all their eggs in the Champions League basket. They're going to drop more points. You may close the gap, but it's almost an irrelevance. And let's be very fair about that. The same as, listen, we're not in a top 4 race or in the top, but our manager has quite publicly said we're playing kids for the rest of the season in the league, all to try and make it to the Europa League final. So I wouldn't worry about too much about that. The only thing I'm really going to challenge what you said, Hamza, is City always turn up when the pressure is on. Well, that isn't true. The pressure was on earlier on in the season to stay in the title race, and you won 1 game in 13 matches. You don't always deliver in that point. Your season has been a calamity by your standards because of how far down the league you dropped as champions. Let's not paint over that fact. It's been a terrible season, and you went out and spent £200 million to help recover it, and fair play to you for doing that. You're allowed to do it. But your narrative that whenever we're under pressure, we deliver, that's not exactly true this season, is it?
This season, the 1 in 13 is because we had a lot of injury. They had players who were playing coming back too early. We had absolute injury galore. Our players were being told they needed surgery. We didn't operate on them. We operated them back in January. We were playing with tired players who were injured. But pressure, guys. Pressure. Ask Liverpool fans. They'll tell you about pressure. United fans, remember the Aguero moment. That when the pressure was on, I was going to lose my league title to Ferguson. I said, no, I'm taking that league, my first league title. When pressure was on and I was 2-0 down against Villa, I won that league. When Arsenal under pressure being top of the league last year, they dropped the league. That is pressure. When at the end of your race, you're coming to the touchline and you don't make it, that means you're a bottom.
Okay, I understand that, you're not in a race though. You're already out the race.
No, the top 5 for top 4, top 5. That's pressure, Terry.
But you're flexing a race that you weren't even meant to be in. You're flexing a race you got relegated into. That isn't a flex, is it?
Well, as poor as our form was, 1 in 13, and the fact that we are fighting to remain in this Europe, that's it's difficult, and it speaks to how difficult
the league is. Come on.
So okay, if you guys are flexing the sort of the
fight required to be in top 4, top 5, if you're
flexing, cool. If you're flexing that, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to ascertain what you're doing. V and Hamza are flexing, failing this season. That's fair enough on them. Fair play. I know Kel and Patrick are not backing that
flexing
message.
Failure.
I'm flexing it too. I have nothing, Terry. We have nothing. Like Terry, we have the FA Cup, this, and the Club World Cup. That's all we can flex. The same way as you guys are flexing the Europa. I think everybody right now is just holding on to something. Because you know what, Terry? You guys win the Europa. If we win the FA Cup and make top 4, and a certain fan base doesn't win anything, we're coming for them. I think that's what everybody is doing. So
no, I understand. Listen, if you guys win Kel, if you guys win the FA Cup, there's no shade on that whatsoever because you enter it at that time. Man United entered the Europa League at the beginning. You could go on to win it. You flex it. I always used to feel different. The couple of times we went into the Europa League after being relegated down from the Champions League, I always felt like I've always felt like a fraud in that competition because you're only there because you've failed. If that makes Man United are in the Europa League because we won a trophy, so you've got that place by success, and if you win it, it's success. If you guys win a trophy, that's pure success, and that should be celebrated 100%.
Yeah, you know what? I think we also have to take in context with just how the season's played out. There's been a lot of conversations on how difficult this league has been. Has it been quality? Has it not been quality? Look at how much we're paying attention to the top 4, top 5. Look at how concentrated that is and how important it is. I think there is a level of competition that's increased this season with the likes of a Newcastle in the form that they're in. So many teams are competing for this chance of playing in Europe. We're gonna accept that we obviously didn't keep the same standards that we had having a 4-peat, and we got to battle on and be top 4, top 5, and try to flex.
No,
it.
I don't think it's about standards. It's not about standards. It's just the point Hamza made that every time City are under pressure, you deliver. I'm just cool. I'm having a bit of banter and calling out the fact that ain't strictly true. No team delivers under pressure all the time. So, Kel, you were going to say something a minute ago. Sorry, I interjected. I apologize.
Oh, I forgot what the point was, but this whole point about we folded in November, December, like that's historically, like those are historically poor months for us anyway. We like the track record is that we tend to turn it on this time of year, like March, April, May. That's usually when the team like gets going, and that's when we have those extended runs. So I think that's what Hamza was trying to go with when he said we went under pressure, because I mean that is kind of our track record. So I don't know, like losing upset over us losing when we are historically bad is not really a surprise, but
I get that. That makes a lot of sense.
It was self-inflicted early on. I know we had injuries back then, but it wasn't as bad as it is right now. Like we have a Kanji, Ake, and Stones. Kanji just came back, but we had all those players during that December run.
Well, we had.
We were missing Rodri and we were missing KDB.
And we were missing Kova
coming back from injury, and they were not getting proper rehabilitation. They had to
imagine
I'm in the hospital. Right. I'm sick, and I'm being told you have to play tomorrow. Players were not recovering from injuries. Akanji, they had to make a decision about surgery because he's having recurrent tears of his groin. Apparently, we had Ake who's still having hamstring, being told when he's 70% fit. We're saying pressure. Pressure is when people look at you and you're about to deliver. We won 1 in 13, and we're 5 points behind Arsenal. That is remarkable.
The league is awful.
That is not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Choosing not to blame injuries. I'm blaming the manager.
Can I ask you guys a genuine question?
I don't want to blame injuries. That's what other fan bases do. I'm not going to be that person.
A genuine.